It's not called Win a Home for nothing. You, the viewer, can win one of 3 completed apartments at Valdevie Estate, valued at more than 3 million rand, by voting for your favorite design contestants lounge on privateproperty.co.za. Win a Home is proudly brought to you by Private Property in association with Nedbank.
Welcome back to your gold medal Olympic edition of Afternoon Express. Now, there's less than a month until the grand finale of Win a Home on Afternoon Express, and our Win a Home design contestants only have 1 room left to complete. Let's head over to Ark Interiors to find out more.
The next assignment is obviously the lounge space. It's an integral part of any home. It's one of the spaces where you will spend a lot of time with, by yourself as well as with friends and family. So it's important to remember that a lounge space is a multi-purpose space. Think about the orientation of the sofa. Think about the orientation of the TV as well, bearing in mind that it would obviously not be a good idea to face the TV towards direct sunlight. But at the same time, this is often a challenge when, trying to compromise on the best views. It's important to think of the lounge also as a transitional space between spaces. Remember that it's right next to the dining space, and obviously, it's a transitional space towards the bedroom. So think about how you're going to place furniture in the space. The second thing I also think is quite important is, think about, library storage for books. Think about audio-visual equipment. Think about speakers and, your TV location, your TV equipment. So be very, very careful how you place these items and how you design them into, to be a little more secluded and a little bit out of sight, as these can often complicate a design and could be quite unsightly.
Since the spaces are very compact, how does one incorporate the dining room into the lounge?
You're going to have to think very, very carefully how you do that. I would try and cater for at least a small sort of 2-seater eating arrangement where you could just break away and have breakfast. When you had more social environments, everybody could sit around the lounge, but I think I would like a slightly more formal eating arrangement.
What type of artworks would you say should we choose for the lounge?
I think art and decor is a very, very big part of interior design. I definitely would focus on 1 or 2 key ideas. I think it's also important not to clutter a space too much, but maybe just try and find one signature piece and then, look at rather doing some smaller object around the space.
John, if you had to choose one bespoke furniture piece that would start a conversation in a lounge, what would it be?
I think for me it would definitely be a sort of feature occasional armchair. For me it's one of those sort of little selfish pleasures of having a conversation piece or an armchair that slightly more tongue-in-cheek, got a bit of attitude. So that would definitely be one of the pieces for me.
Now, the lounge and dining area can be a very expensive part of the house to design and furnish. So let's take a look at our design contestants' budget projections. Rudolph has a total projected budget of 144,000 Rand, with his biggest expense being furniture and electronics. Minenhle has a total projected budget of 128,000 Rand, with 45,000 Rand on flooring. And Joanne has a total projected budget of only 98,000 Rand, with 35,000 Rand going towards lighting alone. She must have had quite a bright idea. We follow our design contestants transform these beautiful apartments. We love sharing expert property advice with you at home. And Bonnie is now on the couch with a man who has a wealth of knowledge to share.
So most of us will stay in our current homes for a number of years before thinking of selling and looking for something new. In the time we spend in our home, we're looking for ways to increase the value so that when the time comes to sell, we get the most out of the transaction. We're joined again by Tim Akinnusi, Head of Sales and Client Management at Nedbank Home Loans. Welcome back to the loft, Tim.
Thank you, Wani.
So Tim, what changes or upgrades can homeowners make to their homes to benefit the resale value?
Bonnie, there are quite a few changes that one can make, and I'll start off by saying that when they think about home improvements and enhancements, think about it from an investment standpoint and rather than it being a cost. Because when you upgrade your place, you should be looking at what sort of return you can get into the future. So that starts with things like as basic as when something is about to break or isn't working well, rather repair it, because the cost of replacing the entire item is actually a lot higher. And then, secondly, start looking at the functional areas of your house and look at how you are maintaining it and look at how effective it is in terms of its operation. And when you start to engage with anything to do with your house, always look at future trends. So you can rely on things like upgrading your geyser to a solar. You can rely on things like improving your energy-efficient lights. And just those basic things will help improve the value of the house in the long term.
Is there a systemic way of working through it? Because perhaps the temptation is to just do it all at once.
Absolutely, but the reality is that things do take time and things are costly. So you really do want to do it in phases, and as and when you see it going wrong, or as and when you feel like something needs to be upgraded, rather do it and not let things pile up. Because like anything in life, if you let it pile up, it gets a lot more complex and certainly a lot more expensive.
Yeah. And Tim, are there particular changes or upgrades people can make that eventually actually compromise the value of the home?
It's a good question, Bonnie, because sometimes it's often not what you do, it's what you don't do. So when you don't invest in functional areas such as your bathroom upgrades or your kitchen, then you will be compromising on the value of your house. But to your question specifically, if you take something like a spare bedroom and you turn it into a single-purpose area that cannot be converted in the future, then you limit its multi-purpose nature. So you need to make sure that you keep things as classic and as standard as possible. And in that way, you end up with a house that can transform and can continue to enhance its value in future.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Thank you so much. So make sure that your home is in tip-top shape when planning to sell in order for you to get the most out of the sale. Make the things that really matter happen with Nedbank. For more information, visit www.nedbank.co.za/home loans.
It's not called Win a Home for nothing. You, the viewer, can win one of the 3 completed apartments at Valdivia Estate, valued at over 3 million rand, by voting for your favorite design contestants' kitchen on privateproperty.co.za. Win a Home is proudly brought to you by Private Property in association with Nedbank.